Tank said he's now the new face of boxing. What do you think?
For sure, he's the face of boxing. I don't have no problem with saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he deserves everything that's coming to him. He's the face of boxing for sure.
And he's that guy. You talked about how good Shakur is. Do you think people sleep on Tank's skills? Because they just see him as a knockout artist?
Who sleep on Tank's skills? Nah, nobody sleep on Tank. Like,
well, I just go because so many people just think he's a knockout artist, but I think they underestimate his boxing IQ.
And back in 2021, in August, I sparred Tank, and he's skilled. Like, he's skillfully. Like, he's like, you can watch me fight. You know, I'm skilled. When I got in the ring with him, he's skillfully great. He's great. Like, Tank is all the way around a great fighter for sure. He's for sure like just like Shakur the man. Tank the man too. Tank the man to beat right now because he got the popularity and the skill. You know what I'm saying? Shakur the man right now, but he's just not as popular as Tank.
Davis Keyshawn, this new guy, he's 140 pounds. He's not bad.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Davis. That's him right there, isn't it?
Ooh, and I thought he was.
Ooh, there you go right here.
Oh yeah,
he's a young guy.
Nice combinations.
He's quick.
Good. Yeah. Ooh.
It's a harder puncher.
And
So Tank is saying that Shakur knocked out Keyshawn in sparring. I guess Keyshawn was thinking about Devin when he was sparring Shakur. Now Gervonta came out stating, quote, "They want to be friends, but like, nah, get on." AJ asked Tank, "You sparred Keyshawn years ago. How did that go?" Gervonta responded with, "He was just in my DMs trying to spar. Left that ninja on scene. That's why he's mad." And I also said ninjas like to spar their future opponents before fighting them, so they can figure them out. Another thing I heard, he got put out by my buddy that don't have no power. Then a fan asked Tank, "Which one, Shakur or Devin?" Gervonta responded by saying, "His fake brother," meaning Shakur. Well, there you go. Tank is claiming Shakur knocked out Keyshawn Davis in sparring. I guess Keyshawn has some explaining to do.
Gervonta Tank Davis just leaked interesting details about a sparring session between Shakur and Keyshawn Davis on social media recently. We all know Tank and Shakur have a rivalry since their amateur days, and currently both hold belts at lightweight, which makes for an interesting potential future fight. Now, many might not know this, but Tank has fought some of the biggest names in the lightweight division during his amateur days. The pound-for-pound boxing champion has a long amateur history with some amazing sparring matches. Fans are aware of the now infamous doghouse sparring incident involving Tank and Devin Haney. Floyd Mayweather recently leaked the entire footage of Tank unleashing his power on a young Devin. However, there are plenty of behind-the-scenes sparring stories involving Tank and other big names that fans aren't aware of. One of them interesting sparring stories involves Tank and Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis is a talented lightweight boxer with an impressive record. The 2020 Tokyo Olympics silver medalist has an impressive professional record, having fought 11 professional fights. With a record of 10 victories, 7 of which were via knockout, Davis is considered one of the best boxers who has the potential to beat Tank in the ring. Many have debated over who would win in such a fight. With Keyshawn recently having called out Tank to a fight, it looks like we have a massive fight on our hands.
Keyshawn Davis has called out Tank. He said he once shared the ring with Tank at the age of 16 and the age of 21. He's now 25 years old. And he said he never had a problem with Tank in those 2 sparring matches. Now, let me tell you something. Frank also sparred Tank a while back and claimed that he hurt Tank. You say you never had a problem with Tank, and that's cool. Frank Martin said he actually hurt Tank during the sparring match. Now, if that's true, I don't know. But here this past weekend, Frank got in the ring with Tank and got knocked out.
Keyshawn Davis seems confident about beating Tank in a professional bout. He mentioned how he didn't have any problems during sparring. But how good was he during the sparring sessions, really? Well, Keyshawn has spoken about him sparring Tank in depth in one of his interviews. He mentions how he and Tank love to focus more on the attack rather than the defensive side of boxing. He notes the similarities between him and Tank and how Tank managed to land multiple shots on him.
Keyshawn, I just remembered you sparred Tank as well, right?
Yeah.
When you sparred Tank, what did you learn about yourself when that happened?
I learned that I can hang in there with the elite level. I feel like I can take a punch because he caught me with, well, I remember he caught me with 2 good shots. He caught me with 1 good hook, and he caught me with 1 good straight. And knowing Tank, like, you don't know really to expect when you get caught with a good shot. So he told me I could really take a punch. He told me I could box with the best and shit. I feel like Tank, he tested me. He tested my skill in a way where I always had to like stay sharp, watch out for his power, and just be real defensive. Because I'm not really a defensive fighter. Even though I got great defense, I love fighting like Tank does. So he had me fighting a style that I don't usually fight, and I feel like I got better at it. I capitalized it. And I learned a lot from sparring Tank, man. Shouts out to Tank.
What's that like in the ring? Kind of like you said, before you get hit, you're kind of like, shit, this is Tank. What is this gonna feel? Is that just a question you get answered once you get popped? It's like, okay, now I know how I take it. Now I know where it's at.
Yeah, for sure. That's what every boxer, even in a real fight, if the dude is not a hard puncher, but you still try to see when you punch, like, you probably get hit, boom. Oh, that shit wasn't that bad. And shake it off. And if that shit come again, you can be confident, like, whoo, boom. You feel me? So it's really like, once you take that first hit, like, well, that shit ain't nothing. Or if you get hit, boom. Okay, he not gonna hit with that no more. You feel me? You always gotta get the hit to really know how you want to fight your opponent.
Keyshawn Davis does seem confident about himself after sparring Tank. He is grateful to Tank for having the opportunity to spar him, but noted that this sparring helped him to learn more about his skills and abilities to absorb powerful punches. Davis also recently shared his thoughts on Tank's brilliant knockout win over Frank Martin. He called it a great fight for boxing and praised both Tank and Frank Martin for putting up an entertaining fight.
Saw the tweet you had over the weekend after you checked out Tank's fight with Frank Martin. Basically, to paraphrase, you said, sparred him at 16, sparred him at 21, never had one problem. Play that tough guy shit with someone from Norfolk, Virginia, your hometown. What'd you think of his fight with Martin? And yeah, man, expand on your sentiment that you shared, after watching it.
Shit, that fight was great for boxing, man. It really was, even though, a lot of it, majority of the fight was predictable. It was still great for boxing, man. Everybody tuned in, and everybody got what they paid for, a spectacular knockout. And, that's what sells in boxing. So that fight was great for boxing, man. And shit, hats off to Frank Martin to get the biggest fight of his career. Going in there and competing. Hats off to Frank Martin and for Tank for, doing what he do. Hats off to both of them guys, man, for real.
Speaking of him calling out Tank to a fight, he had a casual response. He stated that he and Tank had a friendly relationship, but things took a different turn when Tank insulted him with inappropriate text messages. He mentioned that although they sorted out their differences, things will never be the same for him. Besides, he claims that fighting one another in a professional bout will happen in the future.
Just in terms of what I said, for real, I just feel like, Tank wasn't never really, like, on my radar, for real. Like, he wasn't, like, I never had a problem with Tank. He was always cool. And I was just like, when we run into each other, we gonna run into each other and shit. But it was a little situation that we had a disagreement on. And he had DM'd me. So after the DM, I just took it to another level. Because I feel like, once you kind of disrespect me in a way that I don't give a fuck. Once you disrespect me, all the floodgates are open. And I felt like that DM was disrespectful. And we have after his fight, we exchanged words in the DMs, and we kind of like hashed it out type shit. Okay. But I had already made my post on Facebook, and I wasn't going back on what I had said, because at the end of the day, I still want to fight you. Also, we got a little history. We don't got to be cool, but it's like, we're not really friends. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to go back and be like, I'm going to take that shit down because we hashed it out. Nah, that shit's staying up there because we are going to fight one day. Whenever you want to make it happen.
When asked about his skills, Keyshawn Davis once again expressed his confidence, stating that he has belief in himself that he can defeat Tank. He brought up their shared history and boxing record, implying that a fight between them would be interesting and entertaining. He also stated that he's the best at lightweight and can put up a competitive fight against Tank Davis.
Well, stylistically, you know, whatever it is in your style and your skill set, or even beyond style, like your temperament as a man and as a fighter, what is it that you think you have that could be a remedy for Tank in the ring? You could beat him.
I just feel like I'm the best at 135, period. I came into the game with this confidence, and I got the same confidence. Again, like, me and Tank got a little history, so, like, we got a little history. Like I never spoke on Tank like that. It's the first time I ever spoke on it, you feel what I'm saying? But I feel like I'm the best at 135, man. It's time for me to prove it. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I think I can do this better than Tank. I can knock Tank out, and I can do this and that third. No, I'm not gonna do that. He's a hell of a fighter. I'm a hell of a fighter. But what I said on my Facebook post, it was just me keeping it real and just how I felt. And how I feel is it stands. I feel like I'm the best at 135, and I'm here to fight the best.
Keyshawn Davis also talked about his style and how he would approach the fight with Tank. He pointed out that he has several advantages over Tank, including his tall frame. He stated that he would be hard to defend against, and although Tank is known for his slick moves and agility in the ring, it would be useless against a fighter like him. He confidently stated that he has several advantages over Tank, which makes him confident about beating the Baltimore boxing star.
I remember, actually, I think after the time you sparred him the second time at 21, we did an interview and you praised his defense. You're like, I knew this guy could punch, but I didn't know he was slick like that. But yet you're bigger, that you're taller than him and putting on size even at lightweight, and you're a big lightweight. So you already said, I'm not going to say I could do this or I could do that, but just stylistically, what would that fight look like? Because lately you've been throwing lots of combinations, and not too many guys are standing there to throw 3, 4, or 5 shots in front of Tank. They're too concerned about what's coming back. So what do you think it would look like?
Right. Well, with a fighter like me, man, like I'm gonna talk about myself. I'm not gonna talk about him.
Yeah.
Talk about myself. With a fighter like me, you cannot stand right there in front of me and just think you're gonna block all these shots. I'm not talking about him, because Pedraza tried to do the same thing with me, and Nair Albright. So you can't just sit right there in front of me and try to play defense with me. It's just not gonna work. I'm too smart. I'm too fast, and I hit hard. I really do. So you're not gonna want to sit right there with me. You feel what I'm saying? So okay, boom. Naturally, I'm the bigger fighter. Okay, cool. I'm smart. I don't get hit in fights. I don't, so that's number 2. I'm confident. I just feel like in terms of like me, I'm bigger, I'm strong. I just feel like in terms of me, man, I got the whole package. I got the whole package. And if people probably say that about him, but I'm bigger, I'm younger, I'm just as fast, I'm strong. I might not be the hardest hitting 135, but I got power. You feel what I'm saying? So I just believe in myself, man. So I just feel like when it comes down to me and him, I think in terms of the matchup, this is the best matchup you can get in the.
Keyshawn also talked about his knockout victory over Jose Pedraza, being a statement victory that put him on the map. He pointed out that knockout victory was important for his career, helping him gain recognition and giving him the confidence to call out the big names in the division.
You wound up knocking out Pedraza in the same rounds he did, 6 rounds. To Tank's credit, when he did it, Pedraza was undefeated. He was a world champion at that time, but still, you do it in 6 rounds. What do you think that tells us, the fans and the viewers, media?
I think it more so tells the viewers that, okay, Keyshawn is on that. I want to say on that, because y'all always want to say Shakur, Tank, fucking Ryan Garcia level, whatever the fuck that is. But I want to say, like, okay, I'm stamped on that shit. Like, I'm stamped, like, okay, I respect that, but it's always going to take that one fight for me to get that, like, a Teofimo or, like, a Baranchik. For y'all to be like, damn, Keyshawn is ready. But in terms of Keyshawn, I've been telling y'all I was ready. just give me an opportunity for me to show that. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just it really is what it is, man.
While Keyshawn Davis expressed his confidence about fighting Tank, Tank Davis's trainer Kenny Ellis thinks the young boxer is just being foolish by calling out the two-division lightweight champion. Ellis shut down any talk of a potential fight between Tank and Keyshawn Davis, stating that Davis still needs more experience before he can challenge the big names in the division. Ellis also listed out potential contenders for Keyshawn's next fight with Andullah Mason, the top contender he wants to see Davis fight next. Ellis isn't in favor of a Tank Davis versus Keyshawn Davis fight, as he feels that Tank needs to take on the big names in the lightweight division to prove himself.
Coach Kenny, when we went on the other day with Antonio Tarver, Keyshawn seen the video and retweeted it. What do you think about him wanting that fight with Tank, even though it's obviously so many years above him? But I
think Keyshawn should be trying to get his win back with Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz beat him just before he turned pro. Andy Cruz beat him 4 times. Handle that business, then come at Tank.
You know, he said that he sparred Tank 2 times, never had a problem.
Everybody, I mean, it's a possibility. You know, everybody gonna say that because they want people to watch their next fight. You know what I mean?
Like Tank ain't excited about no sparring anyway. When you get on that level, you ain't tripping about no sparring.
Yeah.
And when Tank spar, he ain't gonna Tank will work with you. You know, he'll work with you. Tank ain't go hard with Keyshawn.
Tank got a heart. That's what Kenny's saying. You know, he got a heart. So what do you think? What do you think, Mick? You think that's that's too early for Keyshawn?
Oh man, hell yeah! You got to see
last performance he had, or was it 2?
Yeah, no, we got to see him versus. I would like to see him versus somebody like
I like him, but don't step out too fast. You know what I'm saying? He got rocked.
Yeah, he can fight.
He can fight.
You know what? I like him and Abdullah in the near future.
I want to see Keyshawn and Abdullah Mason.
Yeah, that's what I just said. In about a year, I'd like to see that. Yeah. I think Abdullah get him once he get a little more experience.
Abdullah Mason is next one at 135. I'm trying to tell everybody, they ain't listening.
Oh. Yeah, and
Abdullah Mason up next.
I like to do.
Abdullah Mason is good, man.
He's different.
I would like to see him and Keyshawn on the collision course in the next year or something.
So Kenny Ellis feels that Keyshawn Davis has a lot more to prove before he can finally take on Tank. However, a surprising opinion and prediction was shared by Terrence Crawford's trainer Brian Bomac McIntyre. Bomac was recently asked about the upcoming fight between Tank and Lomachenko and Keyshawn Davis. Have a look.
Well, just wanted to get your thoughts on a potential big fight later in the year. Bob's talking about making Tank and Loma. Who do you favor in that fight?
Oh man, I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't care.
You won't even watch the fight?
Yeah, I mean, I watch it because I'm a big supporter of Tank. But my mind is set on. I got a 135 pounder that can make some noise, and that's where my concern is at. Keyshawn Davis. Of course, they're not talking about it because he only got 10 fights. But the world knows he's right there.
You think Keyshawn, he could, the way you're developing, he could beat Tank in a couple years, or what time?
He just called him out. So obviously he got in his mind that he can beat him.
Well, Keyshawn, is a good combination puncher. Will we see him exchange with Tank? Smart, you don't want to get hit, obviously, but that would be more of a firefight.
Well, I tell you like this. As long as he follow the game plan, he'll be able to win any fight out there.
Well, it seems like he's got the skills to outbox the aggressive guys, but the combinations of power to go after the boxers. You feel like, a well-rounded fighter. You could be versatile with the game plan with him.
You can. You have to. You got to think on the fly. You got to adapt to the style that's in there. You're in there with. That's what will make a great fighter. Adapting.
Now, at the beginning of this video, we looked at leaked details regarding Shakur knocking out Keyshawn in sparring, and it looks like Keyshawn is familiar with the skills Shakur possesses. In a recent interview with Fight Hub TV, Keyshawn was asked to share his opinion on a potential Tank versus Shakur fight. While the boxing world wouldn't hesitate to pick Tank to win this fight, considering Shakur's recent poor form, Keyshawn gave a shocking response as he picked Shakur to win via split decision. Have a look.
How do you see that fight unfolding between Shakur and Tank Davis?
Well, you never know in this sport, man. Like in terms of who getting a fight first. Like who would expect Frank Martin fighting Tank? You know, especially after the fact he didn't fight Shakur. So you really never know who will get the fight first. You know, I'm at a level where I am ready. So whoever Tank will want to fight first, it's really up to that man. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of him and Shakur, if there was to fight, I think Shakur would win. Like I think Shakur got better skill, and of course he's just better defensively. Like I'm always going with the better skill, the better defensive fighter. Tank's skill is phenomenal, but I just feel like he's offense first. I feel like he's offense first, or I feel like Tank is the type of fighter where he'll either be offensive first, or he's very, 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 very patient, and then just try to catch you slipping. You know what I'm saying? And certain fighters, it's just smart. So I just think Shakur will win that fight. It'll be a hell of a fight. A hard fight, and it's definitely gonna be a split decision. Well, I got Shakur.
A fight between Tank and Shakur and Tank versus Keyshawn Davis seems interesting based on the details provided by Keyshawn. He does seem confident about beating Tank, and considering their amateur boxing history, it's not hard to see why. But what do you think? Who would win in a fight between Tank and Shakur Stevenson? Also, can Keyshawn Davis beat Tank in a professional boxing match? Share your predictions and opinions in the comments. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.